How y'all doing out there in video land? This is Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, we're doing my end of the year. It's December. It's December now, so this is the end of the year video for my rotation drawer. These are all the knives that I've used and carried throughout the year, and these are the ones that ended up making it through the year and surviving, beating out the others, I guess, that were in here, and ended up surviving in my rotation drawer. These are some awesome blades, people. All of these are really awesome blades. This one's been in my rotation drawer for a very long time. For a very long time. Ever since pretty much it's existed, it's been in my rotation drawer. Oh, if you hear the dog barking in the background, that's the neighbor's dog. It's barking again. Whenever they set their dog outside, I guess it likes to be inside so much it starts barking a lot because it wants to get back inside. But that's what you hear in the background, people, is their dog barking. But anyway, we're not gonna let them stop it. We're not gonna let the dog stop us from making the video, though. So here we go. Absolutely love every one of these. Let's start. Let me see. I'm gonna start with the oldest one first. The oldest one first, the one that's been in my box the longest, and I don't foresee it ever getting kicked out of my box because all the others have to measure up to this one. This is my favorite one of all time. What is it? 8020S model. Everybody knows the story on this one, so I'm not even going to go into the story on this one because everybody already knows the story. This is one that I found on eBay that was a beat up. Probably most of y'all would probably pass it up, wouldn't even consider it. It did not look good. It was a total ugly duckling. And yeah, I restored it and refurbished it. Got new scales from John Demco and a back spacer from Original Goat, and I already had the Lynch Northwest pocket clips and skiffs inside, so the rest is just a lot of elbow grease, and that's what it is today. This is a D2 model. It's one of the old ones. I absolutely love this one. This is my favorite knife, people. It's my favorite knife. I don't care if yours got MagnaCut or whatever. I like this one. This is my favorite one. This one I made. I like this one. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's got the Austrian 110D2. All right. Next one up. This one's got a little bit more modern steel in it. It's got the powdered metallurgy steel, 20CV. This is a slicer model. Originally had Ultim scales. And yes, I put the Original Goat kit on it with gem back spacers and the shark's tooth pattern aluminum scales. These are fresh scales, and I also polished them a little bit further. Got the little grind marks out of it. So, it's been totally wet sanded and polished and everything like that. And this is a daily user for me. It's one of my favorites. It's been resharpened because I've already dulled the blade out on cardboard. I had to put together a couch that came from Amazon at work, and it came in 3 big giant cardboard boxes. And this is all I had on me that day. I wasn't planning on doing it. I'd have brought one of these. I'd have brought one of my box cutters, with my little tough lights, but I was stuck with this one, and so I had to use this one. I had to use my new knife on some cardboard. And so I had to redo the blade, people, afterwards. It ate up my blade. But, it handled it. It was still sharp afterwards, but it just wasn't as sharp. It wasn't razor sharp no more. And so I had to make it razor sharp again. Put it on the work sharp. But anyway, that's the story behind this one. I love this knife. Absolutely love it. I don't recommend using expensive nice knives for cutting cardboard. I don't recommend that. Next one up on the block, next on the chopping block. On the block here, is another one of my favorites. This is my MSI. And yes, I polished the blade, and it's got the Original Goat kit with skiffs inside. These got skiffs also. Both of these have skiffs. Just about every bearing knife that you will see on here will have skiffs. There's only one more, I think. Or 2 more. There's 2 more knives with skiffs in them. Okay. This is my MSI. It's been all polished out. Did a lot of work on this one. That's a titanium backspacer. I polished the MSI titanium backspacer too. It's not originally polished. Absolutely love this knife, people. And I will be doing a new one for next year. It's going to be a titanium one. I already got the titanium scales. They're the gun stock scales. And they're the fresh finish, and I'm going to polish them. And I already have it. We haven't done an unboxing on it yet, but I already have them. I got 2 of the 30-year anniversary MSIs. And one of them I'm going to turn titanium, and the other one I think might just leave it stock. Because I like the stock scales too. I might just leave it stock, and those will be my MSIs for next year. But this one and the carbon fiber one that I did were the ones I did for this year. And I absolutely love them, people. Absolutely love them. Highly recommend these. These are the M390 MK blade steel. 4-inch blade. It's an awesome knife. Highly recommend them. I know they had the issue with the spine whacking and stuff like that, but mine's never had any issues, and I don't know. I think it's just an awesome knife. It's an awesome knife for work. It's an awesome knife for opening up small packages and stuff like that. I'm not talking about cutting through the cardboard, but opening up packages and doing all that kind of your regular cutting chores, food prep. It does all the things I need to do very well. It's a very good knife. I like the thick blade stock. It's got like a 3.8 millimeter thick blade stock. It's a beautiful knife. And it's just fun. It's a fidgeter. It's fun. It's a super fun fidgeter. Next up, MagnaCut 2XL. This one's been in my box for a while too. I've been carrying these ever since I've been owning them. I think around 2016 or 2018, somewhere around there. I started getting into the Spydercos, the MagnaCut 2XLs. And this is my crew wear one. I like the crew wear ones the best. The Spydercos I like the best for my crew wears. Absolutely love it. This one's got bladescales.com natural JG 10 handle scales with the fly titanium ball cage. It's been all polished out by myself. Absolutely love it. Works like a dream. Next up, Military 2 compression lock. Compression lock Military 2. Another great knife from Spyderco. Absolutely love these. I have several of these too. And this is the one that I like to carry all the time. This is my crew wear one. Absolutely love it. I think I have the camouflage S30V. And what else do I have? Another crew wear one too, I think. So either another crew, no, it's an S30V one. It's the original plain S30V one. Absolutely love these. All right. I like these 2 knives for food prep. This one has micarta scales on it, brown micarta scales on it. All right. Next up, one of my most fun fidgeters, and one of my most fun probably like the smoothest knife that I own is my Engage, with the original goat kit on it, with the skip bearings. This one is super smooth, people. It's got the OG1 scale kit, and it's been polished. And I think this one wasn't a fresh finish. It was like, I don't know, maybe it was a stonewash finish. I can't remember exactly, people. But that's all polished. Absolutely love it. 3.5-inch blade, CPMS 35VN. About 3.8 millimeters thick. Next up. This is one that caught me by surprise. Oh yeah. Absolutely love this one. Oh, there goes the dog. there goes a dog. Rough, rough. Absolutely love it. This one has a Japanese AUS 8A 10A blade steel. It's got a saber flat ground blade. Absolutely love it. I'm trying to look at the blade name of it. I can't remember the name of it. Carve. That's the name. The blade is the Carve. I'm sorry, people. I was trying to figure out what the name was. AUS 10A blade steel. Absolutely love this one. I cleared the mess out of this knife too. G10 handle scales. Fully steel lined. Atlas lock. This is another fun one. But this one I kept having to stretch out the spring on it because the spring kept wearing out on it. Right now it's still good. Right now it's still good. When you start to wear out the spring on the Atlas lock or on a, any of these knives with the coil spring locks, what happens is you'll get a little tiny bit of up and down blade play because the spring is not being strong enough to push the lock bar or whatever it needs to push forward all the way forward. And so you get a little bit of blade play. And so what you do is you take it apart and you stretch out the blade, the spring again, put it back together, and the blade play will be gone. They need to put like a little bit stronger springs in these, I think. I know the reason why they're probably doing it is because they want to make it easy for people to operate. When you have the weaker springs, it's easy on your fingers. So it's easy to do stuff like this. It's easy to fidget with it, all that kind of stuff. When you put a stronger spring in it, it's a little bit harder on your fingers, but your blade will be always, tightly secured in position, in locked position when it's in a locked position. Just something to think about. Maybe they ought to offer springs for those who want stronger springs and let people who want weaker springs have weaker springs. Just a thought. Just a thought. All right, people. Next up, what we got? Okay, next up. Oh, yeah. Well, another one of my new favorites. Got the M4 CPM M4 blade steel. Not M8. M4, people. M4 blade steel. CPM M4. Absolutely love it. I carry this one a lot. This one I don't carry on the motorcycle, though, because I don't trust the pocket clip. Cold Steel, make this pocket clip a little bit tighter. The pocket clip is too loose. It needs to fit tightly against the blade scale. This one doesn't even touch the blade scale. That sound right there is the sound that I can make with it because it's not touching the blade scale. And so it sits kind of loose in the pocket. It's okay if you're not doing anything, athletic or physical or active or anything like that. If you're just doing something very leisurely or something. But if you're doing something active, this might fall out your pocket. That's one thing. That's my only gripe about this knife. The rest of the knife is beautiful. Absolutely love the rest of this knife. I love it. I love that's an Atlas lock, assisted Atlas lock. Because this is as close as I can get to an auto in California and legally to carry. And to me, it's like an auto, it's like an automatic Recon 1. I absolutely love it. I think this knife is awesome. But it needs a better pocket clip. That's one thing it needs. My only gripe about it, 4-inch blade, CPM M4 blade steel. The pocket clip's made out of steel. It's not titanium, it's a steel pocket clip. Oh, let me show you a couple features on this knife too. And you can lock it open. This right here is a switch where you can unlock it or lock it open. So now you can't unlock it. Now this knife can't be unlocked now. And then you unlock it, and then you can unlock it and close it. And then you can lock it closed. So now you can't open it. Can't open it now. You unlock it, and you can open it. Beautiful knife, people. Absolutely love the Swift 3. I highly recommend it. So got a 3.4 millimeter thick blade. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful knife. 4-inch blade. G10 handle scales. This one right here, well, to me, it looks a lot like this one. That's why I say that this one's like an automatic version of this one. Or assistant version of it, should I say. I think they're both a lot alike. What do you think? Look at the blades. This one's a little bit wider. This one's a little bit narrower. But other than that, the blade shapes are the same. The blade thicknesses are the same. So I think they have a lot in common. What do you think? What do you think, people? That's just my opinion, though. You know, I'm basing it on, my experiences. That's all I can do. I love these. This is my new Recon. Oh, look at that. Saber flat ground blade. Drop points. They call it a spear point. I call it, spear, drop point, whatever. It's all good. I love it. It's sexy. This is a beautiful knife. Beautiful knife. And it functions. This one's been lubed and tuned by myself. Oh, it's a joy to use. I love it. It's a DLC coated CPM S35VN blade. Oh, heat treated 6061 aluminum backspacer. Oh, man. And this is the flat dark green earth. What I call dark green? No, flat dark earth. Flat dark earth. I always want to say green. This is not green. It's more of a brown, people. I did that before in another video. Another mistake I made. It's flat dark earth. FDE. Flat dark earth. That's what they call it. FDE. And the FDE stands for flat dark earth. Love it. I absolutely love it. This, I like the military stuff. This is like a Desert Storm type colors, or desert colors, or whatever you want to call it. But I like it. I like it. I like the OD green, and I like this flat dark earth now. I got the, this is another one with that same sort of type of color. It's a little bit darker though, darker shade of it. I like this. I really like it, and I like the way it looks with the black. Doesn't it look good? Isn't that sexy? I love it. I love it. The Recon ones are some of my favorite knives, people. Period. Of all knives. All knives. I don't care if it's a Sabenza or a Demco or whatever. It could be made by anybody. I don't care. I like the Recons and the Tau Wars. Every knife that you see in this drawer, these are my favorite knives. These are the ones I like. I'm just being, I decided a while ago that I'm going to stop, collecting and buying things to make videos of, just because other people like them. I decided I was just going to start doing things that I like, because I was starting to have a lot of things I didn't like. And those are probably going to be like the first things I'm going to sell when I start selling stuff. Sell all the stuff that I didn't really want in the first place. And so I'll sell all that stuff. But all these knives that you see here, these are ones I like. These are ones I like, people. The last few years have been nothing but knives I like. So if you want to see knives I really like, things I really think are great, pay attention to my videos from the last few years. Because, they're full of videos of knives I think are really nice. Really nice. All right, people. Next up, where are we at? MagnaCut. This is my first clip blade in a Recon one in a long time. Most of my Recon ones are Tontos. These two right here are like some of my first ones I purchased that aren't Tontos in a long time. And the reason why I got this one, I pulled up my Blades of Canada knife to modify it for a video. And I realized how much I loved it. And I forgot how much I loved it. And I decided I wanted a new one. And so that's where this one came from. The Blades of Canada knife reminded me of how much I like this blade style for this knife. And this one, the reason why I got this clip blade is because they didn't have a Tonto. They only had the clip blade in MagnaCut. And so I still wanted to try it out. And I didn't have any clip blades. I like clip blades too. You know, just Tontos, this knife and this model is my favorite. But I like clip blades too. And this one is awesome. Look at that. These knives are awesome, people. Awesome. Beautiful. Beautiful. And this is not a fail. It's just that I had this knife really tight. There's no side to side, no up and down, or no blade play at all in this one. And so what you see right there is just pure smoothness. That's pure smoothness, people. That's not a loose knife. That's a very, you know, 'cause I like my Recon ones to be tight. Because why? Because they're fighters. For me, they're folding fighters. I think of a Recon as like a folding fighter, people. And so I like these to be, I don't like to have any blade play or nothing in these. And the smoothness that you see in them is just that this just comes from the lube and tune. Oh, I love the Towel War. The Towel War is one of my favorites. This, out of all this group right here, this one gets carried the most. I'm gonna be honest. I've always carried the Towel Wars more than I carried the Recons, even though I do love the Recons, and even though I got a Recon in my pocket. Even though I got a Recon in my pocket. I do love the Recons, but I just always end up carrying these a lot. I like to carry these to work a lot. It's the ultimate slicer, people. This is an awesome food prep knife. And it's a Persian blade. I just think Persian blades are sexy. Persian style blades are sexy. Look at that. With the Mediterranean style handle and Persian blade. That's just a sexy looking blade. Sexy looking folder. And it's very, very useful. This is a very useful blade. I still use my Oz 10 one, the original one that I got. And it's very fidgety because you got this big giant wave plate and it works really good with the reverse finger flick. See, whereas like on these, it's kind of hard to do a reverse finger flick on these because well, like on the stock one, as you can see, the thumb stud's real small on the other side. So it's kind of hard to get a good bite on it. Whereas this, you got a nice big thumb plate. And it waves out your pocket too. Awesome knife. And it doesn't weigh anything. This is like 4.95 ounces. They're very light. And they're very intimidating, and it's got a nice long blade, almost 4 inches, like 3 3/4 of an inch, 3 inches and 3 3/4 of an inch. Next up, oh yeah. Absolutely love these. Absolutely love these. Y'all know that. This is the king of the fidgeters for Triad locks. The king. Undisputed. Heavyweight champion of the world. When it comes to heavyweight champion fidgeters, nothing out fidgets the 8010. 8010 is number one. Number one, people. Yeah. Love it. I don't even need to go into this one. Y'all been hearing too much about 8010s already. I'm just gonna move over to the next one. Y'all know how much I like my 8010s. I just need to go leave that one alone. Next up, what we got? New kid on the block. Look at that blade. Look at that blade. Oh yeah, 4 millimeters. 4 millimeters, 3.95 millimeters thick to be exact. That's a thick little bad boy. 3.5 inches. Love it. Love it. Got the Andrew Demco wave plate. Love it. Love it. That's a beautiful clip blade. The Bush Ranger. Look at those thick G10 contour G10 handle scales. They're super comfortable. It's got a thick G10 backspacer with steel inserts that you screw into, so you don't have to worry about stripping things out as much. This is a very nice knife, people. Look at the pivot. It's a T15. T6 is for the body screws and the clip screws, but T15 for the pivot. It's a tank. It's a tank of a little knife. Look at that. Saber flat ground. This one you could probably baton. I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna do some batoning and stuff with this one. I think it could handle it. So when you start seeing my fireside videos coming up, you can expect to see this one doing some batoning. Absolutely love it. Oh, did I mention that it has perfect balance? Look at that. Perfect balance, people. And I love the color of it. That's another FDE. I don't know if it's the same. It's a little bit darker tone. I don't know if they call it a flat dark earth or, I don't know, darker earth. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it, people. Bush Ranger. It's my first Bush Ranger. Like I said, it's my first one. That's the first one. And I modified this one with Engage washers. I use the bronze phosphorus washers and Teflon washers from the Engage that I had, because these got changed over to skiffs. And I put the washers in this one because this one just had Teflon washers. And I was just curious how it worked with the bronze phosphorus washer and Teflon washer setup. And that's why I like, people. And this, I just left it like that after that because now I got the kind of performance out of it I want. It centers out perfectly. Before it was favoring the clip side a little bit. Now it's perfect. Before it had, on the clip side, it had a fairly thick Teflon washer and a very thin Teflon washer. And then on the other side, the show side, it just had one thick Teflon washer. And it was centered out pretty good, but it was just a little bit off. And so, I just wondered why they had two washers on one side. It almost seemed like they were missing a washer or something. But anyway, I decided to try out the other washers. And this is where I like it. This is the way it's going to stay. If I get another one, I got another set of washers because I did like 3 of these knives, so I got another set of washers I could do it too. But I know how to hook it up. I know you guys, unless you do the same thing I did, you can't do that. But even without that, it's still a smooth knife. It's still really smooth. I just made it better. Just hot rodded it. All right. And this one right here, it has Teflon washers too. And I was like, I was thinking that, whoa, is that the way they were made? Or are they trying to save money or something by not using the bronze phosphorus washers? And so, the last video that you guys saw me make, I took it apart out of curiosity and found out that no, they've always made them that way. They've always had them with Teflon washers for this model. So I just put it back together and left it like that. This one works perfectly smooth though with the Teflon washers. So I don't have, it centers out perfect. Centering on this one is perfect. So I have no problem with that one. Perfect. This one's in my box too. It's a new one, SR1. Absolutely loving it, people. Absolutely loving it. It's fresh in the box. The Bush Ranger and the SR1 are the two fresh ones. And yes, the 8015 and the FM1, they're no longer in my box because we got some new ones in that I like better. Should I say it like that? Should I say? But I love I've always loved the SR1. It's just that I haven't had a new one yet. I've been using my old one, but it can't be in the box because the box has to be, knives that, fairly new and stuff like that. And I don't know. Even though this one's been in here forever, and this one's been in here for a long time now too. And the rest of them are fresh. This is a fresh one for this year. Well, no, this one's from last year too. I built this knife last year, I think it was. I think it was like this time last year, so it was like pretty much like a new knife. Let me see. So I'll still say this one's new. But this one's old. This one's been in my box for like several years. This one's been in my box for a couple of years. And the rest of them are new. This one and this one, I think, are around the same time. So I think they're like the end of last year or beginning of this year. This one's fairly new, new, fairly new, because the knife is new, even though the scales are not super new. The scales are new for this year, though. And these are the newest. And this one right here, oh, this one got kicked out too. This one used to be in my box too. But it got kicked out too because I decided I already had 2 Recons in here, and I decided these are the new type of Recons. And this is my old type of Recon, the Tonto. And so I'm putting this one in my motorcycle. I have another drawer that has all my old motorcycle knives in it. I still use and carry all the time. This is mainly for like the knives that I carry to work. But this is going to go in the drawer where knives don't get carried to work. It's like the bigger knives and all that. Absolutely love them, people. It's like I'm getting to the point now where I don't know. It's like I can't picture knives really getting too much better than they already are. Other than, like maybe changing MagnaCut everything, that they keep coming out with all these different new models of knives and stuff like that, but I still like the old Triads. To me, it's like the old Triads, it's just like they are what they are. They're the best. If you want a knife for a self-defense knife, if you want a knife for emergency response type knife, if you want a knife for, a soldier's, folder, or something like that, or if you want a knife for any kind of heavy duty use, like far as like camp chores, splitting wood or anything like that, the only one I would trust for splitting wood or batoning, I wouldn't baton with any other kind of knife other than a Triad folder, people. A Triad folder. This is the only knife I would baton with. I'm not going to baton with a shark lock. I'm not going to baton with a ram lock. I'm not going to baton with a ball bearing lock. I'm not going to baton with a compression lock. And I'm not going to baton with the Atlas lock. I'm not going to do that. Because I like my knives. I'm not trying to tear them up and break them. You know what I mean? Because I've seen other people do things on videos and stuff where they tear up stuff. So that's good enough. That's good enough evidence for me that I should be doing that with this type of knife. But you can see things all over the internet where people are doing stuff with Triad locks, and they're okay. You have to really be trying to destroy a Triad lock folder in order for you to break it. That's just reality. These are the to me, when it comes to toughness and strong and strength and just being Billy Badass of them all, it's the Triad lock, people. I know the patent's fixing to wear out on it, so I bet you all the famous makers are going to pick up on the Triad lock. Everybody's going to be making Triad lock knives, just like they did with the Axis lock. When the Axis lock, when the patent ran out on the Benchmade Axis lock. The Triad lock patent's fixing to run out. So you're going to see a lot of makers making Triad folders, I bet. Because everybody wants to make a strong folder like a Triad folder. And, Andrew Demco came out with this design, and it's just unbeatable. The Triad folder is just unbeatable, people. I know they say the Atlas lock can, weight hang more, but I'm not, the Atlas lock's not good for batoning. We've seen Gideon's tackle, what happened to his. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not the type that keeps, trying to repeat the same thing over and over again, trying to get a different result. That's the definition of crazy, I think. You know what I mean? It's like if you see something that doesn't work that way, then you don't use it that way. Simple as that. But I like these kind of knives because I like to fidget. I like knives that are fun to open real fast with one hand. And I like to manipulate things in my hand a lot. And all these knives, are strong locks too. It's just that they're not Triad locks, people. If I ever go anywhere where I feel like I'm going to be going to like a dangerous part of town or anything that feels like it might be any kind of threat or anything like that, or I might possibly want something that has extra self-defense, potential in my pocket, I'm going to carry one of these folders. I'm going to carry a Triad folder. I'm not going to carry one of these. I'll carry a Triad. Triads are number one to me when it comes to self-defense folders, people. Triads are number one to me when it comes to survival folders. Triads are number one to me when it comes to heavy-duty use folders. They're not, a lot of these knives aren't the best slicers and the best cutters, and they don't have the best steels or whatever, but they are the toughest. The knives themselves are just the toughest. You don't have to worry about the lock falling apart, or any of that kind of stuff on you, anything breaking or anything like that, unless you're doing something extremely stupid. This knife is going to last you forever. I've had these knives for a long time now, so I don't know. I hear people talking bad about these kind of knives. I was like, you just don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know. But anyway, people, that's my discussion for my end of the year rotation drawer discussion about the knives I've tried out for this year. I highly recommend all these knives. If you want to give for Christmas gifts to give away to friends and family, or maybe a giveaway to yourself, I highly recommend all these, people. Highly recommend all these. Hope everybody's doing good. Peace out. Stiletto.